Hi Nirali, thanks for actually coming out here and having a quick chat with me. It's always nice to have you.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to connect with you and be here.
Wonderful. So let's actually kind of start the conversation on what do you see as the trends which are happening in the contact center transformation, as well as where do you see the future of this journey with the clients that you're actually talking to, and overall industry perspective, how is it actually directionally moving in?
I have a take on contact center transformation. I've always said this, and like even when we talked earlier, for these two elements to it, when I think about contact center transformation, the first is, of course, agents themselves. How are you empowering agents to deliver the right outcome, be it revenue, retention, customer experience from a care perspective, and overall satisfaction? So for me, it's all about ensuring we're building the right frameworks and giving them the right tools, like generative AI or other integrations that may come into play to drive the right outcome. Because, which leads into the second element, if you don't drive the right agent experience, you will not achieve the right customer experience that you're looking for. So for me, contact center transformation leads with technology, but it has to be an equal balance between the front-end customer experience and the agent experience.
And that's actually very well articulated. And I think what you're also, in essence, saying is that typically this part of the industry has always been looking at efficiency gains and kind of reduction in terms of agent workforce and all. What you're alluding to is actually that you need to look at it as an overall transformation wherein you're actually able to bring value from the insights of actually information which is available and tie all of that together to bring better kind of digital services across to the consumer.
Absolutely. I think it's time that we moved away from just looking at it as an efficiency play or turning a contact center in only a revenue generating center, because industries have rotated one or the other. It needs to be both. And the way I look at it is those efficiency gains have to be invested back into driving innovation. And where you're finding those innovations, for me, it's not about, well, if you found 20% efficiencies, you have to cut your labor force by 20%. It's almost saying, well, how do you use that 20% you found to build meaningful connections with the customers that are there, find different ways to connect with them, so then you're improving customer experience, you're driving top-line revenue, and more importantly, you're driving retention and loyalty as well.
Absolutely. And if you just build on this conversation that we just had, from a tech standpoint, how do you kind of see the technology aiding and changing things in this particular space?
I think simply put, you have to look at technologies of and start splitting it out in the middle. System of record versus systems of action. Many times systems of record, like the CRMs, have become the central point of driving a capability or a connection.
Right.
But they're not built for that. They're meant to build for a record-keeping system. We have to look at systems of actions, which are messaging platforms, different application layers, communication channels, and find ways to make them more integrated into a system of record and build the right orchestration and integration layers to drive that personalized customer experience. I think there is either one lens to say, well, we have spent X in the system of record, and just because that system of record provider may have some capabilities, let's just use them. But over time, what you start looking is diminishing returns at it, because they were never built as an engagement or an experience platform.
Right. And if you look at LivePerson, in terms of the roadmap that you are actually kind of going through in the evolution and the life cycle that you are actually kind of engaged in, how do you see LivePerson being adaptable to current systems which are actually there within the current client context? And how do you see it actually then helping the transformation journey? Because clients have invested in certain kind of tooling, in certain kind of infrastructure. Obviously, they don't want to kind of let go of that. And as I understand, actually, LivePerson has a unique kind of proposition in terms of sitting on top of the investments that have been made, but making sure that some of the spaces or gaps that have been not covered, they could be actually kind of unlocked through the solutions that you actually kind of build on top of it. Have I articulated it correctly? And if so, how does it actually work? And if I've missed something, then if you can just add some color to it,
Yeah, I think simply put, we have moved away from being a messaging and an AI provider, which we've been known for. I talked about being a system of record and system of action. We are more of a system of action. So when you think about us, we want to be the command center. We want to be that application layer that helps brands orchestrate the right outcomes. So whether you have a third-party bot or a third-party LLM that you want to empower into the platform that will help you drive the right outcomes, we're more than open. We're looking at bringing in other channels like voice, email very shortly, that when you think about that custom experience, the journey is no longer linear. Mm-hmm. Customers want to connect at their time in their channel of choice based in their situation where they're at. If they're commuting, they're most likely going to use SMS or some sort of third-party application. If they're at work or home, they're most likely going to use their desktop. And if they have time at home, they may switch to a call based on the situation. Being a system of an application, what you're doing is you have that ability to bolt on all capabilities. So let's talk at communication channels. You're providing one agent desktop for agents to work from, and then which is powered by AI. And what you're doing is, through the back of it, you're providing analytics that provide deep insights and recommendations. So what you're doing is you're driving a customer experience platform,
right,
that is delivering the right outcomes.
And I think you touched upon an interesting part on voice. For the longest period of time, people have actually kind of felt like it's difficult to kind of build on solutions on the voice part, and actually kind of it's going to be really important. But I think you all are taking a different take on it in terms of how the transformation on the voice part is happening. If you can just elaborate a bit more on that.
I think if you put it in a simpler way, innovation without disruption. Mm-hmm. By bringing voice into a digital channel, what you're doing is you're creating a baseline that you as a brand or as an end user can look at it and say, well, how is voice performing against messaging, email, and AI? So you're now creating a level playing field. It was never an apples to apples comparison before. By doing that, you are then helping the brand create the right engagement strategy by defining which is the right intent that can be served in the right channel, right, with the highest outcome that is delivered. And as brands start thinking more about their digital first strategy, want to look at providing more convenient ways for customers to engage with them, it's very important to bring in voice and email into a channel that supports those capabilities, whether it is an agent experience platform that is designed to evolve, that is designed to be intent-based, the data that is unifying it, and then providing the right insights and recommendations against the same intents as well.
Right. So I think in essence, you're actually kind of using the voice to kind of make the transformation such that it actually kind of gives a similar experience like what a text or a email function would have actually done, but you are actually also adding the insights bit into it through the advent of actually technologies like AI and all, and making it much more richer in terms of the experience and the outcome related to that.
Absolutely. Voice has a part to play. I think LivePerson previously, may have been quite aggressive in the market to say voice is dead about 5 years plus ago. But we've learned that, as I mentioned, I think the hype at that point in time was that digital was going to solve it all.
Correct.
And the customer journeys were going to be linear. And I think we've seen as time and market and customer expectations have evolved, they want to channel hop. They want to choose the channel of their choice. And with voice coming in, giving it that same respect and significance is allowing not just to have the front-end experiences the same, but it's also, like I said, agent empowerment. Voice agents should have the same digital tools and frameworks and capabilities as a messaging agent would have, so they can provide that right experience.
And if I actually kind of ask you that, how would you want partners like TechM, who are SI partners, kind of propel and actually kind of support you on this transformation that you're trying to do? What would you want us to kind of help you out with?
I think it's taking a step back and truly understanding what is the customer trying to solve for, which I think you all do a really good job of. But I think it's in saying, well, if you're going to bring in a partner like LivePerson that is able to stitch all of the channels with unified analytics, what other partners like CDPs, CRMs, so systems of actions, which ones are missing to help drive that personalized or elevate that engagement? So I think when you're looking at the outcome, I would say it's very much about looking at the holistic picture. What is the end game? Simply put, right? And I think it's again, even for us, like the customer journey is no longer linear, I think the path to transformation is no longer linear. Right now, every system has a part to play. It's no longer one system or one capability that will drive the right outcome. It's the right marriage of tools and frameworks to bring to the table.
Absolutely, and thank you so much actually, Nirali, for giving us a lot of insights in terms of different takes of what's happening in the industry, what's happening in the contact center transformation journeys, and what is LivePerson doing in terms of making sure that they are evolving through the journey and actually transforming the offerings that are there, and what partners like TechM can actually support you in terms of making sure that the experiences and the outcomes generated by the customers are beneficial to them. Thank you so much for spending the time and sharing the insights. Pleasure talking to you as always.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
Thank you.